And here we are again, folks. Welcome to the Motley Croc Show. It's December 28th, 2023. We're in the last week of the year of 2023, and that's pretty scary at itself. Time goes really fast. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the Manic Satanic. What's up, buddy?
What's up, y'all?
How's everybody tonight?
I know I'm good.
I'm hanging in there too, man. Let's see what we got. Make sure you guys let me know that you're in here. If you're coming in, I'm sure it'll be a slow start. It's after Christmas. I don't know about you all, but I was sick as a dog. Let me bring this up a little bit here and bring us a little closer together. There we go. Now we look good.
We're going to check here now.
Yeah, since it's the two of us, I mean, we can talk about whatever tonight. But I did put a label on the show. And, you know, are we lying to kids? And I sent you a video about how this girl, she was showing all these really overweight influencers that are now dead within a matter of not even a year after starting their, you know, Biggest Beautiful podcast, etc. So in comparison to that, are we lying to kids? And since you have children, it'd be good to get your insight as well. And so after we get through all the Christmas stories, let's start on that topic, and then I'll give you some of my ideas and my analogies on what I think of that, and then you should too. And being a father, I can only come ever from being a son. And so from being a father, I think that there's something to be said about that. And you're like a dad of the year and you have all girls. So
that's even a little bit different. Girl dad. It's the shit.
Really. It's even different than being a boy dad for sure. So not that you're not a boy dad, because you're definitely a boy, but you know what I meant.
I know what you mean. It's all good. I don't have any boys per se. I love having girls. You know, the nice thing about being a dad with girls is you really can do no wrong. You know, my ex-wives can talk all the shit they want, and my kids will love me to the day they die, no matter what. They're great like that. And
that's good. That's another thing. Parents should not do that to each other or about each other to their children. That's terribly unfair, because your kids view you differently.
Right.
You know, I've seen a lot of that in my life, where even couples who are together, the parents, generally it's the female more so that I've seen, will kind of smash mouth their person a little bit in front of kids. And I think that that's probably not the right way to do things. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I might want to knock you out, but we're not doing it in front of the kids, you know. I mean, that's my thing. I don't even like doing it in front of the animals, you know, get them all scared. Yeah. But I see that a lot, and then they forget that they're creating poor leadership skills, man. And then you're creating poor humans, poorly led humans, which become other influence. I mean, if you want to have a stronger a child, I think you should lead by example, and then handle your dirty business behind closed doors. Isn't that why we have sex not in front of them? I mean, there's things that should be behind closed doors between a couple that shouldn't be done in front of children.
I never was really like, I knew people growing up whose families like walked around the house naked. I don't know why this is related, but that always weirded me out, man. Like, you know, like there's no way I'm gonna walk through the living room with all my kids there, or any of my kids there for that matter, with my friggin' shit swinging.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's a good thing.
There's a lot of strange people out there, and I try not to judge, but that's definitely a little over the top for me. I know you like turtles, buddy.
Well, this is more for, our show tonight we're talking about will be probably for people who give a shit and want to learn about some other things. I mean, I can only come at it from being a kid myself and what I saw and how family was versus now. And then, like I said, everybody's always worried about hurting somebody's feelings. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't say that or whatever, because, this, that, or the other thing. But anyways, we'll get into that. By the way, how was your Christmas, Jeff? Let's start off on a lighter note, because I'm sure there's some people here. What'd you end up doing?
I worked. I was actually the way they do holidays is they do like a holiday lottery, and you could put in the days that you really want off. Like, I wanted Thanksgiving off. I don't care about Christmas, but Thanksgiving is just, it's not about the holiday, but it's about eating for me, and I love to eat. So, it ended up being just me, Ruby, and a shepherd's pie, which is totally cool. But
I love shepherd's pie.
Me too, dude. Next time I come to your place, I'll bring a shepherd's pie for the party.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's the ultimate comfort food. It really is such a great comfort food. And so Thanksgiving we did that. And in the lottery, I volunteered to take Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, because it's it's bonus time, so it's time and a half.
Right.
And so this week, Ruby was at her mom's, so I ended up picking up 3 overtime days. The 23rd, 24th, which is time and a half plus the time and a half I get for overtime, plus my bonuses, my shift bonuses for overtime. So I crushed it this week. And then I worked the 26th as an overtime day, which I thought I was going to get canceled. So I didn't even really sleep a lot. I didn't pack a lunch, and I kept waiting to get that. They don't call me till 5 o'clock to tell me that I'm canceled. So I usually don't get in the car until like, until I get the phone call or don't get the phone call.
Right.
There was a reason or so too that I really wanted to not work. And, but I ended up going in and time and a half plus bonuses. It was a great shift. The money's good. And it was insane. I was in the ER all week.
Well, I think you might have brought some ghosts with you, because behind you,
I saw that
somebody in the doorway, there were some things walking through. It was kind of scary. I was like, wow, what was this,
It's a spirit. It's a specter.
But that's what I thought. I thought you brought a ghost. Go ahead.
So okay, I should have warned you. I worked the ER, both pediatric and adult ER, and it was super busy. What's up, Josh? It was super busy the whole time, and
Josh,
a lot of really sick fucking people. So, I was on it, but it's great because the nights go by fast when I'm running around.
Sure.
Sure. I watch my steps that I make, and usually ER, because it's not a big area, I usually do about like 4,000 steps. I was averaging 14,000 steps for 4 days in a row. And
well, you're gonna have a healthy heart.
Oh, dude, I was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to keep people.
So let me ask you this as part of your job. So over the Christmas, the whole time, right? Let's not get into anything dark, but what was like the craziest thing you had to deal with over from Christmas Eve to, when you were working? What was like that like was number one if you had to go down? What was it? Because people like to hear that.
I think number one for me this week was there was this crazy girl. I came in, I was on the pediatric side because it's across the hall. So I pretty much been running back and forth all night.
Sure.
Especially now with all I'd say 90% of the real sick people were kids. We had kids on ventilators and stuff. So I was running around checking those, and I came back and hear all this screaming coming from the room right across from my department. Like we have a little nook in there for respiratory and ER where I hang while I'm working down there. And this girl screaming and motherfucking everybody. And here she's like, she was yelling at, there was Hillsborough County sheriffs were there, Tampa PD and security. And she was yelling at the like racist shit at the cops, and telling them they were fucking nothing without their badge, while like 6 of them are holding her down. And she's screaming and yelling and motherfucker. It was crazy, dude. I probably watched for like a good 20 minutes because it was like a train wreck, in reverse. But oh, dude, it was and I'm like, I walked by a room. I was like, you're not making this any better for yourself.
I guess you're just out of it sometimes,
Yeah, and pretty much that was probably one of the craziest. I saw some pretty like hairy motor vehicle accidents, and motor vehicle versus pedestrian, or motor vehicle versus bicycle, motorcycle. Those are the big ones. When somebody's absolutely, man, it was very entertaining. And she finally ended up like, she's a typical drunk person. They flip the script. They hate you. They motherfuck you. And then 5 minutes later, they're A, apologizing, and B, like wanting you to do stuff. Like, I'm really sorry. Can I get a cup of water? Can I get this or that? And yeah, so they had her in some heavy restraints all night. It was nutty.
I just don't understand why people, I don't know, man. I guess everybody's got their story. Just losing control of yourself to me doesn't sound like a fun thing to do. I mean,
no, it is not. I'm a control freak when it comes to myself. I like to be in control of my faculties. And
we've been out a few times too, and everybody else was in control.
Oh yeah, I know, man. Yeah. I remember there was some drunk ass motherfucker.
It was like, why would anybody want to be like that? I don't know, man. That's just,
I don't get that at all, man.
People do it, dude.
What's that?
People do it because you know why? I think, like I said, it's going to go back into what we're talking about tonight. Where we lie to people, man. We make it look like going out and doing that's a good time. It's not a good time, man. It's not.
No, it's not. And I like. I have to play the caretaker. I can't just fucking abandon my friend and let him be,
right,
go off into nothing. And I'm like, well, now I got to babysit this drunk asshole and,
We all have, Josh.
Oh my God, dude. So many times, like, and I've had dates, like I've gone on like Tinder dates and stuff where my date got completely fucked up, like to the point where they couldn't stand up. And I was just like, man, this is just not fun at all, and
No.
then they want to start like, kissing on you or something. And I'm like, I can't. I feel
Because
raped.
they're gonna throw up all in your face.
Yeah, that's another good point.
Or they're gonna shit the bed.
Yeah. Oh. Or shit in your
But my
face.
point is,
That's even worse.
come on, guys. Let's get it
Dude,
together.
I just
Like I
posted
said,
Dangerous Toys shirt, fucking badass, by the way.
I know Dangerous Toys, buddy. If anybody hasn't listened to Dangerous Toys, go do it. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah,
I
it's a
love
class.
Dangerous Toys.
I spent today with Ruby. I took her Christmas shopping. We had brunch. We had a blast. And she's like, "What should we listen to?" So I put on like the best rock of 1980. Dude, there was so much good shit on there. I mean, it was like,
Now you forget about
all of it.
Hey, Tara.
Hey, Tara.
I was going to tell you this, buddy. The other night I did this thing. If you want to have some fun, I went back in and I downloaded. Well, I didn't download it because I have Apple Music, and that's probably one of the best things I've ever had.
I love that.
Pick a song you want, man, and you just go. Well, it was the best of 80s through early 90s freestyle.
Nice.
So, do you remember all those old songs like Stevie B, Spring Love came on? I was like,
yeah,
what? You remember this? Most people around me don't even have any idea what that is.
Early 80s stuff too, like Sugar Hill Gang and fucking Curtis Blow.
It was this whole compilation album, and it was stuff that I totally forgot about.
Yep.
Totally forgot about it.
Oh, dude, that's like, I'm not
Mighty Sound Machine.
Yeah, I'm totally not like into newer hip hop at all, like that auto.
I don't care what your niece said, Tara. It doesn't matter to me. What was that now? Go
ahead. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but I love that old shit, dude. Any like old Run DMC or shit from the early 80s. That's what I grew up with, man.
That's some good stuff,
dude. Yeah,
that's some really good stuff.
There was like a lot of like Judas Priest on there, and Ruby was rocking out and fucking. I don't know if you remember the band X, the old punk band. They sang that song in Los Angeles. I was like, how do you know the words to this song? YouTube is amazing, man. It really is.
Yeah, because kids are learning a lot of stuff. I like it when I'm walking around. I see a young kid wearing like a Iron Maiden shirt or
right.
And that reminds me, I need to send you something later, Jeff. Let me forget after the show. I need to send you something that's pertaining to Iron Maiden. You'll be like, wow, you'll be really impressed.
You love some Iron Maiden, man. I saw them a lot back in the day.
God, if they come through here again, we got to go. 100%.
I'll go, dude. I'm totally down with that. I don't go to enough shows that come through.
I don't even go to enough at all.
Every year you see Steel Panther, and that's the big one for you.
I love that we're doing it. Hey, Merlin, what's up? If they come through again, we're going for sure. We grab Flavio and the gang, and we're made up and we're out. Yeah. So I mean, so you were smashing it this whole Christmas week. And
dude, I was on like Donkey Kong. I wasn't like killing it and running around and it takes a lot of time to kind of get dug in down there because it's a pretty tight crew and I was getting a lot of respect from the docs and all that stuff, which is great. They nice being a respiratory therapist because they actually ask and respect my opinion on things. They'll say, what do you think we should do? What strategy should we use? And it's nice to work so hard and get looked upon like a knowledgeable person,
Yeah, I think that's great, man. And that's really cool that you're doing that for people because
I love it.
I respect you because I couldn't do it, man, because I have to be honest. I just don't care enough about people, and that's just me. They breathe around me and stuff and I have to look at them. And then, I look and see, I always weigh out like people versus animals. I've always been sit with animals because
animals over people any day, dude.
And so what you do is I'm saying in a respect, man, I respect it because I couldn't. I don't know how you do it all.
It's definitely not for everybody, and it was different than I thought it would be. I thought that it would freak me out more having to touch people and dealing with people. And trust me, I get just as many, high maintenance.
Sometimes you just want to be like, bam.
Oh my God, dude! You have to talk to them like they're kids. Just a quick example, like I was on this floor one night, and I've had this lady before on a couple different floors, and she's got a trach, but she can talk. It's that's awesome, John. It's capped so she can talk, but whenever she wants something, she takes her TV remote and bangs it against the bed, over and over and over. So finally, I went in there. I was like, "I'm gonna take that remote away from you if you can't behave yourself," and I did. I took a TV remote away from an 80-year-old lady, but I couldn't take it anymore, man. The whole floor.
It's not necessary. Like again, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Right.
You don't have to disrespect the people that are trying to help you. I mean,
and all the people that are trying to sleep around. There's a lot of sick people on that floor. And the ironic part is that the nurse call light is on that remote. It's right there. So I pointed out. I said, see there with a little red cross? You press the button and they come. You don't have to tap your remote, And she kept complaining that she couldn't breathe. I can't breathe. I was like, I know you can breathe because you got a trach and it's wide open. So, or that it was too tight or whatever. Just the same old shit over and over and over again. Nightmare.
I can imagine. I can imagine. That's probably pretty. I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't do it. I just
that's
couldn't.
why I like working with the kids. They're just honest and open.
But a lot of people, dude. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. Everybody says that. There's always these differences between generational gaps, but there's not. I think most of the time, you have to look at it these days that kids are too padded. We're padding them up, man. We're standing them up in a room and we're wrapping them up in their little tissue and we're sending them out into the world in their little paddings. Like when we were different. When we were young, it was different, I think, and even worse when our parents were young, and even beyond that. And then it goes back into when our grandparents lived through the Depression. They were lucky to eat. No. And nowadays you have all these gigantic fat people walking around, and you have all these fat kids walking around, and they're telling them they're beautiful, and it doesn't matter. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie, because that's what I was talking about earlier. We're going to touch on, because I sent it to you for a reason. They were in the beginning of the whole COVID pandemic and all these movements, these pick and choose movements. Everybody wants to be part of something movements, right? People would jump and get onto the bandwagon long before they really knew what they were getting involved with here.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So let me say, because I'm gonna get sidetracked, because now I've noticed people are actually now pulling the carpet back out from under a lot of bullshit. So I'm gonna make it before I get into this topic, because it bothers people. Before I get into this topic, I'm gonna say I do not care about anybody's sexual preference, what color they are, who they choose to worship, or what they choose to do, as long as they're not molesting children, killing people, animals, or anything like that. That is completely just asinine. Now, with that being said, we have to talk about some things, because I think we lie to a lot of people. I think we make up these analogies that, oh, it's okay to do this or that. So I sent you something because all these people are dead, right? So now if somebody's a 300-pound woman or man, right? Like he was shoving his face full of Fruit Loops, like I got the big fruit, like glorifying doing that, right? And you look at their followers, right? And so you want to take, your statistics, about 20 out of, if you have 1 million, out of every 20, one of those out of every 20 is going to follow you to the ends of the earth. They're going to be like, I relate. When I get off here, I'm going to do that to myself, or I'm going to go out and get bigger. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, right? So you're lying to people and you're killing them instead of telling them the truth. Like, look, I'm on my journey. When you see somebody who's like really, really obese and they're on their journey to come back to health, and they're like going through the trials, and people are relating to that because they got sick or they were on steroids. I'm not talking about just people who are slobs, just waste of society all the way around. I'm talking about people who are really, really need help, or they're trying to get back to their health. And I'm not saying people all come in different shapes and sizes. We're not talking about, you don't have to walk around looking like Aquaman, ladies, and what you expect out of a guy to look like. Of course, everybody's going to be shaped different. But these people on these particular channels were big, fat slobs, okay? And they put makeup on them. It's okay. You can take spray paint and spray paint a turd. It's still a turd. And so what I was going to say was, they're telling you it's okay to look like this. Don't let them lie to you, they say. So you're telling me that a medical physician, someone who goes to college for 8+ years, tells you have to get healthy. This is not good for you. It's not good. It's not attractive to the body. You're going to get skin tags. The inside of your thighs are going to rub. You're going to have ingrown hair. You're going to be stinky. You're not going to be able to clean yourself as much, right? And you're going to be lazy. Your joints are going to fail. You're going to be ugly. Other people are going to make fun of you, blah, blah, blah. So these doctors that are educated, they're all liars, because these social media movement influencers tell people that it's okay to do that. Right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, okay, Tara, that's a very kids these days eat out of boredom, not hunger, it seems.
I kind of eat out of boredom too, so I can't really say.
I do too. But here's something else.
I eat.
How come it is? How come? and this makes no sense to me. Just this is a little digression from the topic. How come the poor people, the really like they live off their food stamps or whatever they have to do, how come they're the most obese? Now, is that systematic?
Exactly,
is that systematic?
Food is so cheap.
Right. Is that systematic? Think about that.
I mean, you can go to McDonald's. Well, not now. I drove through there when I was moving for Ruby, and it was so expensive. My head almost exploded. But it's a lot cheaper to supersize it than to go and build a healthy meal at a supermarket, because healthy food is so expensive. And I try to eat healthy for the most part. I've been really bad since I moved, so but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, all right.
We've all been there where I'm like, man, I look down, be like, man, my stomach's a little too big to tie my shoes.
That's what I'm
right now. Daniel goes on diets every 10 days. He's on a diet
to get fatter. He's
maybe.
Teeny.
And he is kind of tiny. But with that being said, like, so this is a touchy topic, because when I notice one of my animals getting overfed, right? Like, I'm like, all right, the dogs are getting a bit much, aren't moving as much, having a hard time, trying to make it out the front door, little pea driplets because they're chubs. We cut them back. So honestly, can you honestly tell me that if any one of your children came in and they were starting to get really fat, you're not going to say, baby, we need to talk. I love you, but we have to talk about this. You can't go, oh, it doesn't matter what you do, you're beautiful. Now you're just encouraging that poison. So how would you handle that? How would you handle that?
It depends on the age. I think I froze here a little bit.
You're a little frozen, but you should come back.
Cool. A lot of it depends on the age of the kid and what their comprehension level is, how smart a kid they are, how clever, and savvy. So can they understand the fact that, you're telling them this, out of love? I mean, a lot of the trick is don't let them get past that point. I see a lot of kids come into the hospital with breathing issues that are, you're talking like kids that are Ruby's age that are 200 pounds. It's crazy. And they come in with siblings that are, what happened?
Are you still there?
Yeah, my whole screen went white. So I lost everything for a second. Oh, there it is. Now I see you.
Okay, and you're kind of going black.
Oh, there it is.
You're back. You're back. All right. And you can see what Craig wrote. Craig wrote, Borderland Fanny's playing video games. Get up and get outside, right?
Yeah,
you can see that.
Doubt,
okay, good. You're back in. We're back in real time with Jeff.
We were talking. I was talking to Ruby today, and she's like, "Oh, she asked me about Kick the Can. I don't know if you used to play that when you were a kid."
Heck yeah, we did.
Dude, it was the best game, and we would play that until my mother was screaming to come inside.
Yep, we used to play all those fun games. Remember, we just get a regular blue ball, find a wall, and throw it as hard as we could to try to take each other out off the wall.
Yeah,
like you have to hit the wall first. Remember wall ball?
Suicide. You play and you fucking try to hit the other person or make them miss, and then you get to put them up against the wall and take a shot at them.
Oh, absolutely. And now you know what I mean. So like that was well said, Jeff. It does. It depends on the age and what you're doing. But I remember this. Let me tell you something. When we acted up, I don't remember our parents giving a shit about our feelings, right? I don't ever remember my mom or dad coming in going, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about something. Sit down. I'm going to tell you what it's like to be smacked because you just talked to me like that. Yep. They didn't go into detail. They smacked us, right? Yep. So if you lie to a kid and you bullshit around like that and you don't tell them, listen, if you don't stop this, you're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're afraid of what? We're going to hurt their feelings? What are we scared of? Why are we scared to show kids? Why are we so scared to show kids these days that in order to survive in this world, when you go out that door, nobody loves you like we do.
Yeah.
They're there to take from you. There is nobody cares. Nobody cares. They pretend. They can pretend for years. They can even pretend to be your friend, but nobody cares. So when I go out, I want my dad to have already kicked my fucking ass. I want my mom to have bitch slapped me across the room. So when it happens, I can stand there and brush the dust off and go through someone like a fucking freight train. I don't want to have to cry and find my safe space.
My image of Judy like that.
My safe space. This guy bullied me and called me Hank. Listen, let's get out there and teach these people. So social media will not allow you to talk about certain things, but they'll let you glorify that and say it's okay. To me, when you do that to yourself and you continually shove yourself full of shit and you're a slob, it's called self-harm, right? So if I can't go on to the internet and cut myself and say it's okay, I can't go on and do narcotics and show kids it's okay, then why should I be allowed to do that? Self-harm is self-harm.
Yeah, I
lying about whatever. It's all self-harm.
I think that that parents should be held. I mean, it's child abuse a lot of the time. It's just like
100%.
letting your kid not eat, you know. And I was a really skinny kid up until I was like a senior in high school, and then my body kind of changed. I started to be able to gain weight, and I agree, Judy. That therein lies the rub, that
100%.
you know, parents have to put their foot down early. Then you don't have to have a talk with your kid that they're dangerously overweight, or they're stopping breathing in their sleep because they have obstructive sleep apnea at 10 years old or whatever. It just shouldn't be that way. But I see it firsthand in the hospital with kids and adults that, you know, it's scary that some people just, the whole reason that they're sick is because they're overweight and they can't breathe right.
That's
you know,
disgusting.
they can't, you know, and when you have to work on them, sometimes it's really difficult to intubate a person with a really short, fat neck when you're trying to get a breathing tube in there, because you have to be able to see the vocal cords in order to put the tube in the right place. And it's not easy to begin with. And then when you try to do it on somebody that's got a really short, fat, tight neck, you run into problems because this person's struggling to breathe. And, you know, time's of the essence, man. The less breaths they take, the more chance there is of permanent damage, or, you know, them stroking out or going into a bad heart rhythm. So it's wait, sorry, I'm just giving these people a row of seats for free. I might have to gain some weight for my next vacation then, in that case.
Either that or I'm okay with it, because you don't want to sit with someone that's rolling into your chair anyway. So give them whatever they want.
Right.
Yeah. Be around long enough anyway, so it's all a good thing.
And there's so many easy fixes now, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you have like Ozempic or liposuction, or, you know, every time I open my Instagram, they must know I'm fat because I see those Ozempic ads, you know, for it's I guess a type 2 diabetes medicine. I think
probably also because your text consists of medical stuff too, probably.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm sure you talk to nurses, and then your Instagram, they watch what you do. They're like, oh, this guy does that. Because it's weird, because I get ads all the time for motorcycle stuff that I didn't even talk about. Like, or because, I don't know, my camera saw me wearing one of my flannels. They're like, oh, well, then now every flannel ad, you say the word flannel and it's flannel.
Right.
You know,
the deadbeat customs ads and shit.
Yeah, people do chalk it up to genetics instead of watching their kids. Tara, you're absolutely right. And I think that that's a valid point too. And nobody cares though, dude. You know what I mean? They don't care. They want to stuff them away. Most people have kids, don't even want them these days. I mean, let's just face it. Let me tell you something. If somebody wants to be around you or in your life, they'll be there, Jeff. If they don't, they won't. They will not. You know what that means? That don't give a shit about you. They don't love you and they don't care. And that goes for parents too, guys. That goes for parents. So no matter how you look at them, no matter how you want them to love you or care, they don't care, because why? They're people. Just like every other person. They're going to act like another person that you may consider a scumbag.
Yeah. No, it's
all right. What do you disagree? I disagree, Troy. If they are that big, then they need 2 seats and they pay for the 2 seats.
Absolutely.
That's right on. I mean, that's fair. I respect that. I'll take that. I'll step down with that disagreement. But those people don't care. And that's my point. So if you're teaching that all on the internet, you're teaching self-harm, right? You're teaching not to be there for your kids. Now you're teaching them it's okay. Stuff yourself full of whatever garbage you can get a hold of.
Right.
Get out of my face.
Yep.
Get out of my face.
Park them in front of the TV and fill them full of trash. You know, that's the way to.
It's all money, man. It's all money because they create these video games and these online things for people to use, which it's a pretty good platform for us. And first of all, I don't want anyone to go, hey, I'm far from perfect. I make a lot of fucking mistakes. I do a lot of terrible mistakes, man. And
we all do, man. That's what makes us human beings.
But I want someone we tell each other when we do it. We talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And I would never want to keep doing something to someone unknowing and then not have them say, hey, you know, man. But
it's so much easier to tell them, you know, you rip the Band-Aid off, man. Just like, you know, if I go to kiss somebody and my breath stinks, I want to fucking know, dude. You know, I don't want to. You don't have to
be a dick about it. Be like, yo, Troy, man, listen. It's
time for a minute.
You want some dog shit? Oh, thanks, man. I'll go take care of it.
Yeah, you know, whose dirty socks you've been sucking on. But you know, it's
Daniel's cum socks.
You know, if I put clothes on that somebody thinks look ridiculous, I mean, I may wear them anyway, but at least let me know, you know, oh, you know, your ass crack is sticking out every time you bend over or
oh yeah, everybody would want to know that. But why would you? Yeah, exactly. But we don't do that.
It happens a lot when I wear my chaps out of the house, you know.
We're too sensitive, and I think these people are letting that stuff happen. So Tar says doctors change what they say all the time too. Before they always told you to give your kid juice, and now they tell me juice
Yeah.
has no nutritional value, and they shouldn't give my toddler juice at
Well,
all.
it'll ruin their teeth too, though. Sometimes, like a lot of people, they put their
Yes,
kids to bed
sir, Merlin.
with sippy cups full of juice, and you're going to trash your kids' teeth, before they have a chance to develop, or
Oh,
even
remember juicy juice?
milk or juicy juice. Yeah, 10% real juice. At least they were honest about it, man. They didn't want to perpetuate the lie that it was actual juice. Let's see. People don't care about you. Yeah, no, I'm a very thick-skinned person, and it's so sometimes when people get upset about stuff, I'm like, why would they let that bother you? Even
Now, I
stupid
tell
stuff.
you, because that goes back to what you said earlier, parents.
Yeah,
You know,
parents definitely need.
you and I've seen it, Jeff. Remember, it said in our day we had mosh pits, and your day you have safe spaces. We are not the same. We are not the same. We're not the same.
No. I seen a meme like jumping a big wheel over like a fucking ramp made out of boxes and stuff, dude.
Yeah, and I think kids need to get out a little more and see some stuff. But yeah, they do want to make it boring and stuff. But also, your parents lead your example too. If you have a lazy set of parents or a big old slob set of parents, usually that's your motivation. And very rarely do you have a kid that goes, I want to get out of this and changes his life. Because I've seen some kids come from pure catastrophe and be completely successful.
Oh, without a doubt.
And then kids that come from success are so, and then now there it is again too. So, like, if you have these parents that are extremely successful and they don't teach their kids value of what they have, they're assholes too.
Karens.
Complete assholes too. Yep, exactly. And I think that's a big thing too, man.
And it's not just rich people, though. I was actually talking to somebody about this tonight when I would when I was a bounty hunter, which I don't know if y'all know, but I did that for about 7 years and I loved it. I was good at it and, it was good work. But, these parents, you go to, pick up their kids or whatever, and they'd lie to you. They'd hide the kid, they'd motherfuck you up and down, fuck you when you're bad, get out of my house. You can't be here. I'm never giving up my kid. Even when you tell them that you're going to take their house or something like that, they still will take that shit down to the wire. You know what I mean? And
yep,
it's sad. Like my
parents wouldn't have done that. If I'd have done that shit and there was a bounty hunter there, they would have gave me up.
Oh hell yeah, dude! My dad.
If I was doing that bad of shit as a kid, they would have stopped me early.
Yeah, my dad was an attorney, so if I ever got in trouble, he's like, "All right, before they come get you, go turn yourself in." It's and
oh yeah,
and I didn't get in a lot of trouble. I was very lucky that luck.
They didn't get caught, Jeff.
What's that? I didn't get caught. Exactly. I see people who got caught when they were kids, or people who were doing time for the stupid shit that I used to do, and I'm like, man, that could have been me so easily had I gotten there 2 seconds earlier or 2 seconds later. When I was in senior in high school, we had a party at a friend's house, and some people showed up that didn't want to have a good time, and there was a fight, and somebody got killed. And I was there, I had to testify. So they ended up arresting a friend of mine who, to this day, I still profess his innocence because he was nowhere near the car until after I got there and the kid was already dead. And they were
upset.
What's that?
I said, what's up, Seth? I'm letting
they were chasing the car with like bats and stuff. And I don't even remember why I started this story. Oh, so, see, I lost my train of thought, man.
Well, you started it with my dad told me before they come get you.
That's right. Yeah. So, this kid, I supported him. His parents supported him because, I told his parents, I was like, he's innocent. I know he's innocent. And of course, nobody believed us because we're a bunch of fucking, denim jacket, Iron Maiden jacket wearing fucking metal punks. Yep. And, we were the long hairs and we were causing the trouble, even though it was our party. You know what I mean? And he ended up doing 6 years, got convicted of manslaughter and had to do 6 years, and it ruined his fucking life.
Wow.
But yeah, it's I don't know. As far as my kids though go, I sometimes we eat junk food. Luckily they got the metabolism of a hummingbird, but they won't always, man. And if it gets to the point, I'm like, eat a goddamn vegetable once in a while.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where like we were talking earlier, it's okay to have a little junk food. It's okay to have a little fun, but promoting it on social media that this whole let me just put it to you like this. I've noticed this a lot, dude. I've noticed big girls now all over Instagram in thongs twerking. I mean, it looks like big bags of garbage just slapping together around a red rubber band, right? And people are liking it.
Like that though.
Now hold on. Now, what if it was a bunch of fat men walking around with their shirts off on the beach trying to act sexy? They would be made fun of.
Have you been to Fort DeSoto on a Saturday, or
bro? They're not marketing that though. You know what I mean? It's
I get you.
So if a guy was out like doing that stuff, walking around in a Speedo at 450, 500 pounds, they're going to trash him. Girls will be like, ew, that's disgusting.
Oh, hell yeah.
We've got this theory now that these big plumpkins are good, but I mean, some of the stuff is just garbage, dude. Like, why would you think that that's okay to promote? You're not promoting it. So again, if you're doing that and someone's liking that, then other ones that think it's okay are going to try to achieve that. I just think it's all, so it's made up to destroy. It's just all done on purpose.
It's not about the way people look. You know, I've dated larger women and they look great. It's more about promoting a healthier lifestyle. And I'm not really one to talk.
That's what I'm talking about. We're not talking about shapes and sizes. I want to make sure I'm clear on that so I don't make anybody mad at me.
Right.
What Jeff said is 100% correct. Go ahead, Jeff.
You know, I'll come home and I'll smoke and I'll fucking kill like a box of mochi ice cream and a fucking tub of yogurt and some shit. You know, but I try to fast at least like 14 to 16 hours a day anyway. It's not the greatest eating style, but you know, I get to eat what I want sometimes, and I agree with that, Tara. You know, I'm a fat earther. We all know that. I try to keep my kids healthy-ish. You know, I try to encourage them to eat healthy stuff, and
not true.
You can be.
We're not talking about voluptuous or dad bods. That's not what we're talking about on this show.
Yeah,
there's no way that Jeff and I could be healthy at 450 pounds, no matter how we look.
I'm barely healthy at like 250, which is about what I'm weighing right now.
So, it depends on your height too. Depends on who you are and how big. And sometimes we're not talking about the way numbers look on a scale, because weightlifters, Schwarzenegger was considered obese. And even some of those guys that do all the heavy lifting and steroids, that's just as bad.
Yeah, but if you go by the charts, I should be 170 pounds. Can you imagine 170 pounds, dude? I would look like all sucking terrible.
I'm supposed to be 180. I would look like I had HIV.
Exactly, dude. I look like a fucking. I look like one of my ancestors that survived the Holocaust, for fuck's sake. I like that was joke, y'all, by the way, just in case you didn't know. But you know, I'm comfortable at like 2 to 210. That's my sweet spot right there, you know. And you go to the doctor and they're like, wait, the chart says you're supposed to be 170. I'm like, look at my shoulders, look at my chest. I'm a big person, you know?
Yep. You can't go. That chart's old. That's when people were small. Like in the 70s when they built houses for people that weren't even 6 feet tall. I have a hard time reaching down in to try to wash my dishes without back pain because of that.
Yeah. 125. I weigh at least twice you beginners.
That was extremely thin right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
extremely skinny.
Thin. I'm like 5'10", and I'm like 250. I mean, I'm not slobby fat, but I definitely got a belly right now.
That's my point. There's one thing can happen. Anybody can be a little bit, dude, like that. You know, you can have a little belly, or a girl can be a little thicker, or a guy can be a little thicker.
Harder to get rid
We're talking about obesity, man, where it's every Dorito you eat.
Yeah, I'm not like
a fucking stick or grenade, dude, that you're sticking in your mouth. Dude. It's like sticking a grenade in your mouth. And one time, it's just going to blow, dude. You're just going to blow. You're going to be sitting there with your friends.
Yeah.
And you're just going to and die.
Oh, dude.
Any one of us can do that. Any one of us that any health can do that.
About being an overweight adult is I see the people that come in who have been living with type 2 diabetes for 10 years. They're missing limbs. They're missing digits. They can't breathe when they sleep. So a CPAP's not even enough. They have to wear what's called a BiPAP, which is a big machine. And absolutely, no,
I'm letting everybody else see, Paul, while you were talking, letting them tell me.
Yeah, no, and I used to love PE, dude. We used to call it gym back then, but I used to fucking love it. You know?
Yeah, I remember PE, physical ed. They're like, it's time to go out, man. We're going to gym. Yep, I remember that. And so to touch on Paul, I agree 100%. The educational system is declined because I think I think, like I said earlier, was systematic, and they want to kill people. They want to give poor people shitty food.
Of course.
Right. But I also think if you're not, if there's things that you're not allowed to do to your children, stuffing them full of food like that and junk food and poison should be child abuse as well. Tara said her father had muscular dystrophy, though, so that's a reason. Craig, I feel you, Jeff. 6'1" and 250 with 52-inch chest. I will never be small.
Exactly.
100%.
I have a big barrel chest, and I have big shoulders. I have huge legs. You know, like I don't have chicken legs, so I can never be skinny. It just doesn't fit me. You know, before COVID, I was in amazing shape, and I'm trying to work my way somewhat back there. But I enjoy eating. I love to eat. It's my therapy. It's my recreation. It's what I do when I'm bored sometimes. Like when I was a student and it was during lockdown, I'd sit and study on this very laptop, and I would just sit there and eat and eat and eat because I had to do something with my hands, you know, when I was studying. So I tried to make it healthy, like baby carrots. You know, I lived on frozen grapes for like a year. That was
those were the days.
My stoner snack, dude. Best stoner snack ever, frozen green grapes.
And I remember, well, at least in my 20s and 30s, man, I went to the gym a lot, Jeff. So I've had my weight up big time just from lifting. And once you create that amount, once you grow that muscle, you lose a percentage of it when you slow down, but it's still there. Now you've grown muscle. You've grown.
I look a lot better after gaining weight after working out than I did before. Plus, I was eating like high protein, low fat, so that helps build the muscle too. So even as an overweight guy, I still think I got it going on. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's different. You're being a little bit like, hey, I'm a little overweight. It's one thing. I want to make sure people understand we're not talking about that. We're talking about when these people are telling other people on the internet it's okay to be 700 pounds and beautiful. It's not. It's okay to be working your way.
You can be beautiful at 700 pounds, but you know what? You're not going to live very long, and
you won't be beautiful that long.
I see it firsthand. Exactly. And I mean, and there's so many problems secondary to obesity. Sleep apnea is such a big one. They call it what is it? Damn, I forgot what the term is for the overweight sleep apnea, but it ends in of obesity. So it pretty much means that when you lay down, you lose your airway. So you're you're stopping breathing. You're not getting enough oxygen to your brain. You become hypoxic, which means there's not enough oxygen in your blood, and it's really bad for you. They say it leads to early onset Alzheimer's. It can really affect your brain as far as it makes you 4 times more likely for a stroke, for a heart attack, shit that'll kill you or make your life to the point where you can't exercise and you can't get up and walk around. And I watch people ride around on those handicap, like the carts, like the get around or whatever, like the and just because they're nothing more than overweight. So if you start treating it like a disability rather than a problem that can be fixed, it's really, it becomes a problem. It becomes more of a problem. And you, like I said, you stop breathing. It makes it harder for us to keep people alive when they're like that, because the heart is so strained.
Yeah, trying to push all that blood through all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm lucky. My heart's really strong, and I hope it stays that way. But that's exactly what it is. You become hypertensive, which is high blood pressure, because your body's squeezing down on your vascular system. So it's harder for your body to push the blood through your body. So then you start having problems with that. You start losing the integrity of your heart valves. That's what like a murmur is. Or you get cardiomegaly, like an oversized heart, or just even congestive heart failure. And it's the worst. I mean, you look at these X-rays, and the heart takes up twice the amount of space that it's supposed to.
A lot of people don't talk about that. Like I said, we're in such a world of let's not hurt someone's feelings or let's not offend this person, that we kind of, I mean, I think we're really hurting things in the long run. And I saw like if you say stuff on the internet now, like on any meta platform, and you can't use certain words, like, people have to say unlifed, right? You can't. There was this, I saw it the other day. It's called The Faces of Suicide. Okay. And it's all these people they want you to see what's going on out there in the world, like this is what's causing this, or this is what's causing that,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, it happens a lot more than you think.
And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put it up on Facebook. I'm just going to put the link up there. And you know what? I got violated for that, buddy. They said, you're not going to be able to comment now for 48 hours, and you can't post for 2 days or whatever on my Facebook, right?
You're a Facebook convict.
Right. Because I posted something for awareness for people, man. There was every page on there was isolated to a different thing. There were veterans, the amount of veterans that do that daily, the amount of people and why they do it daily, and to children, and then they had age breakups. You got kids offing themselves from 6 and up.
That's insane, dude. And
it is
over crazy shit. That's the worst part.
What was good about that was they were talking about all these different things and getting to know these names and why this was done. Because if you read stuff like that and you know why it's done, maybe you can prevent. A lot of it, they were saying, especially in the youth, was just an accident. They were just trying to get attention, right?
Right.
And trying to get attention, it went too far. And they're gone. And so some of these people aren't even that. And first of all, that's just a shitty thing to do. And I've had people do it in my life. And it pissed me off because it just destroyed another 20, 30 people, man. When you could have, it was so simple. I understand, like, if you're so terminally ill that you don't want to rot, you want to go somewhere that's
terminal pain.
Right. That's different. But just because your boyfriend or your girlfriend left you or your favorite band broke up, listen, if you off yourself because your favorite band broke up, we don't want you walking the planet anyways, because you're a time bomb and you're going to take one of us with you. That's how I look at that.
Yeah, no.
Here comes the hate.
It amazes me how many botched suicides I see, and I feel like it's people like trying to pull back at the last second. I never realized there was so many botched firearm suicides until I started working in the ER. And you see a lot of people with like the front of their face blown off because they're getting ready to do it, and at the last possible second, either the recoil of the weapon, or they decide that they don't want to do it at the last second or whatever, But it's sad and scary, man. And we definitely have to take care of our kids in that way, that we have to be honest with them and open, that and I try to keep open lines of communication with my kids. They can tell me anything. I don't care what it is. I'll come at it with an open mind, and unless they tell me they're a juggalo, then I got to kill them. But other than that, we're good.
Dude, listen, man, it's the world is so sideways, but I do see a little bit of light at the tunnel, and I do see it kind of coming back where, we're allowed to we're doing a little more with comedy now, and you should be allowed to speak your mind the way you want to.
Absolutely.
And I see a lot of, there's a lot of, I don't get into because again, we've seen it all before. There's a lot of like protesting and all this kind of stuff going on between, this and Gaza and Israel, whatever. Those people have been doing that for thousands of years, right? That's not our business. We should not be involved in it in any way, shape, or form. That's their business. We should let them handle their business. I think a problem with the United States, strictly opinion, folks, is we get too involved with other, it's like we think we own the whole world.
Yeah, world police, man.
Times, right? Like, I mean, I'm glad that I'm here. I love the United States. I'm glad that I have a history of grandparents that fought in the wars to try to keep it as best as they could. I do think that, I'm not going to say the name, but Jeff and I had a really good conversation about the last best president that ever walked the planet. I know people will disagree, so we're not even going to talk about that, but I agree with them 100%. And we lived through a lot of that stuff as kids, him as a teenager, me as a little bit younger than him. But we saw it. We saw the stress that our parents went through. It was so traumatic. I remember the day Elvis Presley died.
I do too. I was in camp.
I was in a swimming pool in South Florida with my mom. What happened with you? And I'll tell you the story.
I was at sleepaway camp. It was August, right?
Yep.
70s.
I believe my mom will remember for sure.
I was gonna say Brittany would chime right in right now if she were here, but it was
summertime. I know that.
Everybody, all of a sudden, like all the counselors and stuff, were like real down in the mouth and sad. And somebody said Elvis died. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Elvis died. And then all day over all the loudspeakers, man, all you heard was Elvis. And I've been a huge Elvis fan my whole life, and
He's awesome.
It was
No doubt,
even as a
100%.
kid. You know, that was a big deal. I was
shocker
in the punk rock, and
I was in the backyard. I was a little kid too. I was in the backyard. I was with my mom. I think I was in the pool with her. I was kind of sitting with her on her hip, you know. And the screen door flies opens, man. And my grandmother's like, Judy, Elvis has died. He's died. My mom was like, I don't even think, shame on you guys. She said, shame on you guys, August 16th.
I think it's yeah,
I
I was close. August 77.
I don't even think my mom hit the ladder, bro. We were in the above ground pool, and she just cleared it and ran inside, dude. And I remember being put down, and the news was on. More sad to say,
She just left it floating in the pool.
All I knew at that time was it was music, but I didn't realize as I got a little older that stuck out in my head so traumatic. It was so shocking as a kid. I remember as a little kid. I remember.
Yeah,
and I think that those types of things, man. And then next thing you know, we're going through wars, and then the Berlin Wall comes down, and then
I was in high school.
Geraldo was going to open a mafia vault.
Yeah, that was a boss, dude.
You remember all that?
He said open his own vault.
Now we have these uneducated people that are very uneducated getting on TikTok and Instagram and other social media and picking a side to protest, right? They don't know the facts. They don't know anything. They know what their side told them, right? Exactly. They know what they think they know, what another, 20-year-old that has no life experience just told them about what they know. So they're all standing in the street.
Yeah. You're
not going to change anything. And so now you have people freaking out and running over them with trucks and cars.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is worth sitting in the middle of the street, folks. That's happening overseas. That has nothing to do with us. That's two governments fighting over territory, basically. And there's innocent people in the middle. That's it.
Always.
That's all that is. That's all that is. It's a territory religious thing, like it always is.
Yeah, collateral damage is no such thing. That any innocent who dies or who is killed on purpose is just a tragedy. People sign up to fight, then that's their job, and they fight. But people,
you can't, Jeff. You and I can't show a snake giving live birth because there's blood, but they've got these people putting this stuff on there, people running around with kids blown up with their arms, holding the child's arm here and dancing around and stuff like that. And they're like, look what they're doing. They're doing it to each other, people. It isn't this like innocent side thing. And we've been doing this.
Shouldn't get involved. That's right.
And so long, we keep getting involved. We shouldn't be doing that. We got problems here in this own country we need to be involved with. We got our own children who's going to be taking care of us when we're older. We got to get involved with. We got a lot more of that going on. Yeah, they are. Exactly. That's true too. And that shows you right there. Everything's systematic, dude. They just put it all, it's a systemic all the way down the line. They teach you how to be right now. The way the world is today, Jeff and I should not like each other because I'm an Anglo-Saxon white and he is a Jew. We should hate each other right now. We should. That's what we should do. We shouldn't like each other. We should throw all the Jewish people out. I've been reading that. I'm like, are you crazy? Do you even know what you're writing on the internet when you write stupid shit like that? You have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, dude.
And that's where it starts to get stupid, Jeff.
I
find it offensive and stupid.
Yeah, I'll get Twitter alerts. I don't go on Twitter very often, but I follow a lot of people.
I like going on X because I like to see people like us can say what we want. That's one of the reasons I like.
And you can say what you want on there. And I go on and I troll people sometimes when I'm in a bad mood. I like to go and fuck with the people that I don't agree with, or like when people were eating what the fuck's it called, ivermectin to try to cure COVID. I was going on there. I changed my screen name to Paste for My Horses, and I just fucking clowned a bunch of people, and it made me feel good because I was having a bad day or whatever. But it's nice to be able to say what you want, and I like to, and as long as you're not trying to hurt or hate on somebody, what's the difference, man?
It's all you guys just remember. I can say this is I can't say because I do work in media. I do work with media. I know there's a lot of things that we can and can't say because sensitive rules and stuff. I find it interesting. I find interesting, Jeff, and I will say it. I find it interesting that even out in California, they'll be upset if you say something about someone's sexual preference, color, creed, religion. But that's one of the top places that people are getting raping children. Those agencies are smuggling children, destroying them, having sex with them, killing them but they'll control this media so you can't say something mean about someone because why? Because what? So there's that. And then there's the other part. Now, when you get on social media, people, you have to be exactly clear on what you're looking at, and you have to pay attention to stuff because you can fall guilty to it. I know I could. So I have to go, nope, I'm going to really look at this before I'm going to.
And that's what you have to do. That's the problem, is that people see a headline and they automatically, especially if it's something that fits their narrative, they automatically assume it's true. No providence to it whatsoever, no research, no reading, or they'll read the first 4 lines of an article. Yeah, I mean,
and that's true. And that's true. I've watched them on regular the demographics like a Fox or CNN, just regular brought to you news from other countries. You'll see them doing that. And here's what I don't understand, Jeff, because why would somebody think it's okay to say that? There's people doing that, by the way, guys, what she's wrote here. There's people doing that in the United States in some of our bigger urban cities, right? Telling them that we should have eliminated the Jews and all that stuff. That's a horrible, horrible thing to say, okay? Because you have no idea what you just wrote. You have wrote one of the most disgusting things you can write about a person. You have no idea what you're talking about. What's going on over there has nothing to do with the American. We're all Americans here. And if you look at some of the social media platforms now, even X,
Jews per se too. I mean, it's a country of
everybody.
Jews, Muslims,
exactly,
Christians. It's where technically all of it started. Well, in that part of the world.
Well, I don't watch any of the news because it's a lie. I want to talk to. I have people that have been to war and been over in those places and that are friends of mine, and they tell you what's going on. I've got friends in Intel, and when they retire, they tell you what's going on, and all the stuff that they're painting here is a lie. Anything you see on any one of those news, but first of all, Jeff and I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. All the news is owned by pretty much 2 major companies, and that's it. And they sell the same poison on each thing.
Yeah.
And so that means they're right down the middle. They're just throwing stories at whatever goes to their thing, and money's just funneling in, right?
That's what it is.
Dead babies today in Gaza. Blue. We'll be back in a moment. Buy your new Ford F-150 for $0 down. It's all money.
I like when they give you the cliffhanger, man. That's the best one.
Something so the commercial
kill you. News at 11.
Guys, and the highest bidder. Yep. The highest bidder, Jeff, is the first commercial.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's the first commercial. So, dead children found today in Gaza. Up next, Ford. That means they were the highest bidder paid for that platform. And I think that that's interesting. And so people get into this. They totally forget what they're doing. They totally forget it. And they think, oh, this is the way it is. This is it. No, that's not the way it is. That's the way they're telling you to keep you in this momentum of like we're in this little maze. And they turn the lights on the way they want us to walk. And I'm sorry. I just think that it's getting carried away. It's getting carried away. And so, yeah, I've been in trouble on here. I know you have, Jeff. But I think it's disgusting to write that, folks. You guys are young. You don't know what you're writing, and you're writing it about people like myself or people like Jeff or people who are out in the world that are just good people trying to get shit together, man. And that's it. And we need to worry about our country and what we're doing here and the hostile takeover that our so-called government's doing to us. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. They're both doing it, and you have to watch that. Isn't it funny that it's – isn't it so funny, Jeff, that you can't have this middle ground, right? So if you're pro-abortion, well, then you can't be a Republican. And if you're pro-life, well, then you can't be a Democrat. And they teach you that, but that's just absolutely not true. And so it's monopolizing.
Bullshit, dude.
It's monopolizing it. It's like 2 cable companies. Well, you can't watch the Sons of Anarchy on this network, but on this network you can. So what do? They go, honey, why don't we just go ahead and pay the $15 so I can watch my show, and then you can have your sports. And what happens there? They both sit back and go, they play those games. Ads are created to there's ads created for men. There's ads created for women.
Children.
They scare you, and then sell to you. And the more you talk about this, and the more I see it, and the more stuff's going on out there, I'm just thinking, Jesus. I mean, and that's it. When the LBG community is protesting when homosexuals are allowed to be gay or trans, they're not. And that's funny to me when they're doing that. Look at the way they treat those people in those countries.
It's a crime punishable by death in a lot of those countries to be in a same-sex relationship.
They'll kill you. There is a documentary, folks. Everybody watching, I want you to go look at it. It's called Gaycation. Gaycation, and it was about a person going to different countries to look into the life of the stuff in there that you're going to see that they do to these human beings for being homosexual is absolutely appalling.
Yep.
We are the most tolerant country in the world of any type of difference between sexuality or preferences or whatever.
For the most part,
any other country in the world.
Scandinavia is pretty.
Yeah, but if you look versus numbers, Jeff, numbers of people.
Oh, I'm sure.
People, we're the most tolerant. Scandinavia is a little bit different, but I'm just saying most of these other countries, dude, you won't let. They'll kill you, and it's okay. They'll kill you and go home and have dinner. So my point is, you got to watch some of that stuff because what they're teaching us now is it's okay to be big and fat and lie to kids. It's okay to eat garbage food and be big and beautiful. It's okay if you shit your pants.
Okay to eat kids.
Oh, doo-doo smells good. That's a good smell on you, doo-doo. Yeah, that's great. Oh, you're awesome. Who cares if your teeth look like cheese? That's no problem. You're a good-looking young man, cheese man. You know what I'm saying? We're lying to people. We're destroying and we're abusing, and we need to really start focusing on what we're doing. Because even if, Jeff, if we do that to our animals, we can go to jail.
Yep.
We abuse our animals, we can go to jail. I mean, I'm regulated by the state. We all are. So if you just think about how that goes, I mean, I know we're a small group compared to Fox or CNN and people who listen to us or watch us or how many views, but God, people just it's so simple. Learn to problem solve and do your own thing. And don't be scared to change the way you live. I mean, I've done it. You have to do it. You have to go, hey, this is probably not a healthy thing to do, and I got to do it. I know that my mom yells at me all the time about stuff, and a lot of times she's correct. You know, I'm just bullshitting.
Mom's right every now and again. Judy's a smart.
Well, they've been there. We're older. We're older. They're older than us, and they've been there. You know, there are that roller coaster for them is up at the top again. You know, now they're just chill. But we're at that point where we're going up and down. But I think we're responsible for a lot of what's going on in the world, and we need to stay out of the other shit, anyways.
Yeah, we definitely need to stay in our lane a little bit more. That's our big problem is that you know we're constantly sticking our nose in business where it doesn't belong and giving away money, you know, and we need to just thanks, Judy, you're the best. We need to just, you know, take care of what we got going on at home. I mean, we had just come out of an almost 4-year serious pandemic. You know, over 1 million people died here. And you know, it's big. It was a big deal, and it's still there. You know what I mean? It's still mutating and going around. It definitely gets overshadowed by some of the other stuff that we see nightly, like the RSV, which it's pretty rare for you know middle-aged adults to get RSV, and now it's all over the place.
Yeah, and again, you know, sometimes not all conspiracy theories are fake either. There's a lot more going on than we know, and you know. One of the best ways to win territory and to take something is biological warfare. Man, why would you want to ruin the resources by bombing it or burning it down? You know what I'm saying?
Neutron bomb, man.
Just put a little something in the water, man. Put a little something in the food. You know,
people have been caught trying.
Just look at the cancer in the disease in Brazil because of the steroid use in their meat. 11-year-olds looking like they're 25 years old. Look at that stuff. Read about it. I'm not making that stuff up, folks. You're more than welcome to go ahead and look all that stuff up. And so they're doing that here. The stuff they're putting in the food here is absolutely unbelievable. And you know what, guys? It's going to be luck if we make it because you're not getting out of this pit. You're not. We're in a big aquarium, dude, and they're doing what they want. We've got to make the best of what we can while we're here because you're not escaping it. You're not.
You want to look up something? Check out like the antidepressives and benzo levels in public drinking water, you know, that ends up getting either flushed down the toilet or cycled through people's bodies. And the levels are just off the chart. So pretty much we're all on antidepressants one way or another if we're drinking any kind of public water supply. You know, that's a really crazy rabbit hole to go down that it's there. You know what I mean? It's you're taking Xanax, you're taking Lexapro, you're taking Prozac, because that all gets washed through into our water supply, and now it's in there. It's ingrained. So you want to go down a fun rabbit hole, check that out.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I think that's terrible.
Agreed.
A lot of people I know have wells. They're very lucky. But
I grew up with wells.
You know, at least you can filter through a little bit of that stuff. Although some of that water that comes out of the ground really, really deep in Florida through the lime is really pure.
Oh, for sure.
Naturally. It's gone through a lot of, you know, And it's very interesting to me. And that's interesting. I am going to look into that because, wow. I remember they were putting fluoride in our water and killing everybody. I think it's all a sample. You ever wonder why sometimes you go out and everybody's just having a shitty day? Like, everybody around you is just being a fucking cunt. And they're just being dicks and you're fighting and everybody's yelling when you're in public. You don't think that may be in the air? You don't think that some of those things in the sky that you see sometimes are spraying stuff just to kind of keep everybody, like we're pesticide or whatever,
Yeah, no, I know. When I lived in Boston, the city water was some of the best water I ever drank out of the tap because it all came down from the mountains.
One of the things I remember, I don't know what it is. I could be very wrong in this, so I'm not going to say it's a fact or whatever. But I do know that if you take like this tap water here and you make ice with it or whatever, the ice always looks white, right? When we used to freeze water in Colorado, like in the freezer or leave it outside, it would freeze like crystal clear glass, dude. I don't know what causes that. I don't know if because there's additives in there that expand when it's frozen to make the ice look different than when water is really pure. I don't know.
It could just be like carbon dioxide or something. You know what I mean?
Right? I don't know, and I really don't know. So if anybody does, I'd like to know. But I just remember that they have special ice you can buy like at the liquor stores, like at ABC or whatever, and they're these circular, crystal clear. Like they look like crystal clear, whatever they are, the little ball of ice or whatever. But yeah, I just remember our ice here is all kind of white and weird, and then you go there and you anything from a well and you let it sit and it's like clear. It's just really weird.
Growing up with well water was great, man. The water was always good. The house I looked at in Dade City had a well, and I was psyched. I got city water here, but it is what it is.
Oh, and we might as well tell everybody before we get off here too. Like a lot of people may or may not know this, but Jeff and I were talking today. China created the invisible cloak, so they can put a cloak on and walk right. You don't even see them. Research that. Look it up. That happened. A lot of people are joking like, not impressed. Harry Potter did that in the 90s, I think because that guy had the invisible cloak in the show. But it actually works exactly. It works exactly like the one in the movie. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's about reflection, I think.
Yeah, remember they turned it against that guy. They twisted that thing over. And then the other guy has what looks like a shower curtain, and he lifts it up. But once you turn it at a certain angle, it was like the Predator. It was unbelievable. So I always thought they always had that technology anyways. They just didn't tell us.
Yeah, I believe Brittany would probably have some really good insight on that because I know they do it on aircraft and stuff too. They use that that like reflective light bending technology and stuff to
that's what it looks like the sky. Yep. And Craig said we have those cloaks. Of course we do. I just think it's funny that Chinese released them, and so I thought, wow, I saw it come through on an ad, and I'm like, come on, man, here's some more propaganda to get everybody stirred up. And then I went and really researched it, and it was done. I mean, they really created that instead of something that would help them. But anyways. Well, guys, we're 8 minutes past the top of the hour. We appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with me and Jeff tonight. It's been one of those cool conversations, and sometimes people don't want to hear certain things, but sometimes we got to touch on it. And I know sometimes I hear stuff. I'm like, wow, I need to apply that. That's a good thing. And I've always learned a lot. So we appreciate everybody coming out tonight and spending time with us here at the Croc Show. We're going to be back next week. We are lining up some special guests. So I'm going to have some comics and some things come on here in the future, in the near future. And we're going to have a pretty good time with that. So, be checking for that. I'll run ads and I'll let you know who it is and who to follow, who to see. And, we'll definitely have Ant back on again. Ant's real good to have with us here. Eric Tanzi was a lot of fun. We'll definitely bring him in, and we'll get a big group going. It's very cold here in Florida tonight, guys. Jimmy's locking up a bunch of animals. Brittany's out of town, so Jeff and I want to hold down the fort tonight. They're all in. Daniel came over early today and started helping
animals in. Tell everybody else, bring your animals in.
Oh yeah. Bring your animals in, guys. It's just cold. If you don't want to be out there, neither do they. But anyhow,
and if I don't know if you noticed the cat on top of the fridge, by the way, he's been sitting.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
Bring your animals in, and you can rent Dan for a small fee. He'll come over and help you.
Yep. Don't say that Tara's watching. She'll rent Dan for a different fee. Anyways, we appreciate you coming out and checking out the Motley Croc Show. Myself and Jeff, you got anything to say before we go?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm excited that we got to do a show tonight, and if anybody has any topics, send them to Troy.
Or Jeff. Send them to either of us. We'll get to each other. We have a community opening.
We're trying to get some really cool people on, so it's just going to keep getting better and better for y'all.
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be great, man. We're having a really good time with it. So thank you guys again for all the support. We care about you, and we will see you next week. And until then, be safe and have a great one,
You.
folks.